Alright guys, welcome back. What's up? Happy Earth Day! It is Earth Day 2024. I'm Dr. Jaws, and tonight we have actually a really cool stream with the spinner shark and shark conservation in general. So I'm really excited. This is going to be a little bit of I guess like a quasi-special episode, because there's a lot of cool stuff to cover related to this species, and this species is actually a really cool gateway into a lot of different aspects of shark conservation in general. So very excited to cover this. Hey Howard, welcome back. Good evening. Hope you had a good weekend. What did I do? Oh, I did something awesome this weekend. I signed up. So hey Quackers, what's up? Welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend as well. So when I was in college, Sir Douglas Bang, what's up? Oh man, a lot of people here right at the top of the stream. Awesome. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys all had great weekends. I signed up. Roy, what's up, man? Oh, it's Earth Day. It is Earth Day. I'm super excited. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff to cover tonight. And I think we'll dive in before we dive into the spinner sharks specifically. We'll kind of take a cool look at some new stuff from VIMS relating to sharks and just like a lot of their research that they're doing. So this is Virginia Institute of Marine Science. But I had a fun weekend. So in college, I was trained on the PADI scuba program. So PADI is I think it's the largest scuba diving school. And I've honestly just kind of, I've traveled a lot, I've done a lot of snorkeling, but I haven't really done as much scuba diving. And to the point where it's I think it's beneficial to probably relearn it and do a different school just kind of out of curiosity. So I actually signed up for scuba lessons this weekend for open water diver at SSI. So this is Scuba Schools International. So PADI and SSI are the two big ones. So I'm really excited to do that. It's been a while since I've been properly scuba diving, and it's just it deserves recertification at this point. So I do a lot of snorkeling, but it's time to kind of push to the next level, especially in Virginia. As far as encountering sharks in the state, it's better to kind of be further out and be deeper. So, but also speaking of Virginia sharks, just real quick moment, I changed my background to some of you guys might have seen this photo before, but I figured it was time to update my actual desktop to a species and a shark a photograph that I actually took. So the last photo was a bonnethead shark that was by Andy Merck, because I just thought it was a cool desktop photo. But this one is much more lower resolution, but this is mine. This is a scalloped hammerhead from Norfolk Canyon, and this was about 2 years ago. So this guy was huge. It was about probably 10 to 12 feet. So super cool shark. Love this guy. It probably looks kind of small in the photo, just with the angle, because we were on a boat. But Scuba Zach, thanks guys, I appreciate it. So I'm actually really excited. So I'm going to be doing the online training in May, and then the pool classes are in June, and then the confirmation dives are in July. So it's going to be kind of fun. I'll keep you guys posted on how it all goes. Thanks Quackers, affectionately Itsy Bitsy. So so I'm gonna keep this photo up for now until I get a new shark photo of a wild species in my local waters. So we'll see what happens. But I do love this photo. It's very grainy, but it is one of a kind. That's one of my favorite things about I'm kind of getting into underwater photography, and it's just those are just one of a kind images. So love it, and I love being able to share it with you guys, because it's I'm trying. On this channel, totally fine to share, but I don't really put out my other things, so yeah, it's just cool. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys did over the weekend. By the way, Howard, thank you so much for this spinner shark drawing. There's one key detail I love about this in particular, and it's the black tips, especially the black tip on the anal fin. This is actually one of the few ways to identify this species versus a black tip shark. So I don't know if that's for the entire species or for certain parts of the world, but black tip sharks, Carcharhinus lymbatus, actually don't have black on their anal fin, but spinner sharks do. And that's really helpful because these two species are notoriously really similar looking, which sounds surprising because spinner sharks are so famous for just spinning out of the water. And black tip sharks are much more famous as, apart from being like a classic species, they're much more famous for their huge migration, specifically from Florida up the coast. I think that was featured on Blue Planet too. So, it's like these two species kind of have like different niches in I guess the shark pop culture, the shark zeitgeist. But as far as like what they look like, they're actually really eerily similar looking sharks. So one of my favorite things for tonight is to take a look at what makes these two species different. So I'm super excited to check that out. But I love how you captured the spinning behavior. And I love like the angling of the pectoral fins is showing, and the caudal fin is showing motion. So really, really love that detail as far as the shark spinning. Also, it's awesome to see striped mahara. So that's actually, shout out to that, by the way. Mahara are like, I don't think people know what mahara are really. And it's just like, like it's, that's a cool fish to point out. So shout out to that. And then the remora, so the common remora, or the, I forget if I'm not as good with remoras because there's like a remora, a shark sucker, a whale sucker. I've seen one of these in the bay, which is really fun, riding a stingray. So like it's one of my personal favorites, but super cool detail. So love it. Thank you so much for sending this over. Really great piece of art, and I love the coloring too, like as far as like the sun in the background and kind of capturing the light. This is super cool, so thank you so much for sending this. And let's take a look at, I think what we'll do first is we'll take a look at the VIMS shark maps, which includes spinner sharks, because I think this is a real treat, and I think you guys will really get a kick out of this. So let's check this out, and then we'll dive into the species specifically. So let's go back all the way to the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this into the stream chat. Because I have to explain VIMS a little bit. I know I've talked about it probably quite a lot at this point. But this is particularly cool for a lot of reasons. It's like, so VIMS, the Virginia Institute of Marine Science, is one of the most famous shark research institutions. Hey, Minjus, welcome back. Happy Earth Day. VIMS is one of the most famous shark research institutes or institutions in the United States. It's not like, as far as pop culture goes, it's not that famous in terms of like, it's not like a Woods Hole or a Scripps or like any of the Florida universities. But like as far as the shark world goes, VIMS is really important. Like VIMS research is some of the first and like some of the most well established in the world as far as shark research goes. And it's interesting, the program was very strong in the 70s and 80s. I would say the 90s as well. There was a period where I think, they were kind of maybe not producing as much. And then I feel like they're kind of coming back with it. So, but historically, there's so much data. VIMS claims to be the oldest shark research survey in the world, or at least the oldest in the country. Started in 1974. What's funny is that I think UNC Chapel Hill, they have a marine lab in North Carolina. They also claim to be the oldest in a similar time period. So I don't know who is the true oldest, but it's one of those two, or there could be a third that I don't even know as far as the oldest. But anyway, VIMS is like one of like kind of like the ground level shark research institutions as far as shark surveys, like monitoring shark populations, mimicking long-line fishing operations so that they can kind of predict the sharks you're most likely to see. So they have this amazing data set. And for like the time that I was working with them, and like the time that their research was like kind of like as far as like their publicly available maps, they weren't really super easy to get, and they weren't really like they were split up in such a way that it was kind of like it wasn't user friendly. So until now, this is kind of hard to find. So I posted the link in the chat so that people can copy and paste it and save it on their browser if they're interested. But this is like a nice like ArcGIS map of VIMS catches in coastal Virginia, including the bay. And the biodiversity is actually excellent. And I've learned a couple of things. Like I think my channel's most popular video is about sharks in the Chesapeake Bay, and I had 12 species in that video because that was like the official count at the time, 12 species. But these maps are actually showing that there's 14, including the spinner. So let's take a look. I think I've given enough exposition, so I'm really excited. So these are sharks in Virginia. Keep in mind that there's a couple species that probably occupy the zone that are not going to come up on the catch map because they don't occupy a trophic niche where they will bite down on the hook. So great examples are like the Atlantic angel shark or the sand devil. That's a species that probably, it's not on here, but it does live in the bay, so it probably is not going to show up on the map. Basking shark or whale shark, those are very rare species in this part of the world, and they eat plankton. Whale sharks eat small fish as well, but like they're not going to be caught on a long line survey. So they're like, that little bit aside, let's take a look at the sharks of Virginia. And this is actually, you can extrapolate this roughly to sharks between Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. So let's check it out. So what's cool is that they have, you can see on the right here, they have 3 main regions, and it's a breakdown of 3 different surveys. There's a survey that's in the Chesapeake Bay. So if anyone's kind of familiar with Virginia, down here where my mouse is Virginia Beach. Up here, this is the Eastern Shore. This is like a peninsula that is, it's connected only to the Western Shore by the Bay Bridge Tunnel. The Bay Bridge Tunnel's claim to fame, aside from being like an engineering marvel, is it was also in Mission Impossible 3. So Tom Cruise was running on, I don't know if he was actually running on the Bay Bridge or a set. But anyway, so here's the Chesapeake Bay, is one part of the survey. Right over here is the Eastern Shore Lagoons, and these are really cool like shark nursery habitats. So lemon sharks and dusky sharks in particular really like these lagoons. And then finally you have this coastal component. So this is all relatively shallow water. It starts when you get further and further offshore, especially this little station right here. You're getting closer to the shelf edge and places like Norfolk Canyon where you see amazing wildlife, including that hammerhead shark that I pictured that I was showing you earlier. So, but yeah, let's check it out. So, oh good, okay, so this range map is going to change every time we look at a different shark. But first up is the sandbar shark, Carcharhinus plumbeus. So this would be the poster child shark of Virginia. This species is very abundant here. It uses the Chesapeake Bay as a nursery, and it is also endangered. It is a species that has been really the primary species of focus for kind of like the backbone of VIMS' shark work. But you can see that this species occupies like the bay, the Eastern Shore Lagoons, and the coast. It is extremely abundant. But also an endangered species, so very, very important conservation focus for this species. This has a special distinction, last time I checked, for fishing, where you can't land this species, you cannot fish for the species at all, unless you have a research permit. So it's not like, last time I checked, and it's been a couple years, it's not prohibited, but it's not allowed. It's in this special middle zone where it's like it's allowed if you're doing it for research purposes. So next is the Atlantic sharp-nosed shark. Did the range map change? There we go. Okay, yeah, the map should be changing every time you go through it. Oh, okay. So okay, I had to trigger it again. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is the sandbar shark range, but it's basically the same. Although you can see how far up the bay it goes, which is really cool. So these are all the locations you can see where they've caught sandbar sharks. All the stations that are active, like these yellow dots, are where they caught sandbar sharks. So it's essentially the same range. So as I scroll through to different sharks, the map changes. So here we go. Atlantic sharp-nosed shark, Rhizopterodon terra novi. This is the first shark I worked up, when I was like on the shark research survey for a little bit. This was the first species that I handled, and it's like a good introductory species because it's so small. But these guys are really cool. I think they're really beautiful. They're actually we've talked about this before, but they are kind of like a good example of like maybe, or like a good indicator of like what maybe the future of sharks looks like, in a sense that these are very successful. They're least concerned. It's the most common shark in the southeastern United States. And it's handling fishing pressure really well because it actually reproduces every year. It grows very quickly as far as sharks go, and reproduces on an annual basis, whereas a lot of other sharks have to take a break. So very abundant in the bay, and you can actually see right here, it goes up the Chesapeake Bay pretty far. It's on the eastern shore lagoons, and then you have the coastal stations right here. So very cool, classic Chesapeake Bay species. The smooth dogfish, or dusky smoothhound, Musselus canis. Love this shark. Fun fact that some viewers of the channel might know, but this species changes color. So if it's over a light seabed, it will, I forget the mechanism of how it does it, but it takes about 30 minutes for it to do it, but it will, I think, contract its, how does it do it? Like, I was about to say contract chromatophores, but I know that's how squid do it. I don't know if that's exactly how this shark does it. But either way, over 30 minutes, if it's on a light sandy seabed, it will lighten its skin to be better camouflage with the seabed. And then if it swims over like a dark seabed, it will darken its skin to better camouflage itself on the muddy seabed. So really cool fact, a color-changing shark, one of the very few sharks that is able to do so. It also is very abundant. This one is actually doing really well. It's near threatened. Also can go far up into the bay, be found on the eastern shore and on the coast. So love these guys. These are actually fun cousins of leopard sharks. So it's the same family, Triachidae. Dusky shark. Now dusky sharks, this is also like really important. I think now it's critically endangered. When I started Dr. Jaws, it was an endangered species. I believe duskies are now critically endangered. This one takes forever to grow, or to grow and reproduce. It is the largest Carcharhinus in the world. It reaches about 14 feet. So it's the same genus as bull sharks, sandbar sharks, but it is the largest one, dusky sharks. What's interesting about dusky sharks is they've been rumored to coordinate attacks on whales. They are coastal pelagic, so they spend some time on the coast, but they also spend a lot of time offshore. And they are technically found in the bay, but in these recent surveys, they have not caught them in the bay or in the lagoons. So, but they are catching them offshore. So compared to other sharks, it doesn't really like estuaries as much. It tends to spend more of its time offshore, but still really magnificent animal. I mean, it's again the superlative Carcharhinus. So really cool to see. Let's see. I'm just going to catch any comments. Sorry, I'll get back to that. Make sure. They are just. And then goldenrod spider crab does something extremely similar to change of color. Oh, awesome! I didn't know that. Oh, very cool. Yeah, so like dusky smoothhounds. I think there was another shark that we saw a couple months ago. It was like an epaulet shark or something that I think it does a similar thing too. But as far as this part of the world goes, dusky smoothhound is the only shark I know that like can change color. So very, very cool. Black tip shark. Now this is interesting. This blew my mind. Look at this point right here. Black tip sharks are found in the bay. So there was a rumor of that before I made my Sharks of the Chesapeake video, and then now with these recent VIMS surveys, it's like, oh my gosh, they're actually in the bay. So, and what's interesting about that is, I wonder if climate change has a bit to do with it. One theory has been that as the waters warm, bull sharks will will push their range northward. There's been evidence of that in North Carolina, where bull sharks have been pupping in North Carolina, which is like unheard of. So similarly, I'm kind of curious if black tip shark intrusion into the bay might be related to climate change or warming waters. This is a warm water species, again famous for migrating from Florida to the mid-Atlantic region. So that would be interesting to look into, because again, this is when I started almost 10 years ago. This was not known to be in the bay. It was rumored to occasionally maybe like I think there's like literally one record of it in the bay, But overall, it's not known to enter the Chesapeake Bay, and then now there's more catches of it. So I think it is an interesting species to watch. Now, what's interesting about blacktip sharks is this superficially looks very similar to a spinner shark. So the big thing here, and you can see, made that really maybe a little bit too huge. The anal fin is white. So this, I believe, is the way you can distinguish spinner sharks from blacktips. Is just spinner sharks have the black tip on the anal fin, but blacktip sharks have a white anal fin. So what's fun about blacktip sharks, it's hard to describe, but they look very sharp looking. And that, for me personally, that's kind of how I can tell them apart from other Carcharhinus. Like, because there's so many Carcharhinus and they all look so similar, and it's just really difficult. But blacktip sharks, aside from the black tips, like there's something about their profile that just looks very sharp. Sharp is the right way to is the way that makes sense in my mind in terms of like, how to say that. Like it's hard to describe. Spinner sharks, I think, are a little bit slimmer than blacktips as well, but superficially they do look really similar. So, oh, here we go, spinner shark. So there we go. This is our species for tonight, Carcharhinus brevipinna. And look at that. Spinner sharks have intruded into the bay as well, which is unbelievable. Like, that one is, like, I've never heard of that. And that one was not on our radar at all. So that was never in, like, records before. So this is a new species that is intruding into the Chesapeake Bay, which is kind of wild. They have been found in Virginia offshore before, but there's never been a record of the spinner sharks entering the bay before until now. So me personally, this really excites me. To kind of see like this new information come out. So taking a closer look, this beautiful illustration by Mark Dando, who I might have to give it to him for being potentially like one of the best shark artists. Like Mark is really good. And then like, because usually like I forget the name of the other artist. There was another artist that did shark profiles before Mark, and then I think Mark is kind of more of a recent shark artist, but these are popping up, like his works are popping up more and more in like shark identification guides, and no wonder, like this is just like gorgeous. There's like so much like sleekness and depth to it. So, but it's a good profile of our spinner shark. So let's take a closer look at this and see what we can see. One thing that immediately stands out to me is like, look at the gills. Those are actually proportionally a pretty large gill slits relative to the body size. So this is a slim looking shark, but those are pretty large gills. And I immediately wonder if maybe that's something that helps it, like as far as like absorb as much oxygen as possible to kind of fuel that energetic, like, spinning motion or like the high energy of the species is like, having those huge gill slits helps oxygenate the body more, and maybe helps it power up for like that high energy swimming, including the spinning out of the water. While we're talking about that, let's take a look at that in action, and we'll put a pause in the VIMS stuff for a second. So I found some really cool footage of spinner sharks doing what they do best. So let's check it out. Boom. So so these are spinner sharks. A lot of other sharks do spin, but this behavior where it's actually like this like really tight corkscrew spiral, this is like a spinner shark like trademark. So as far as other spinning sharks, I believe mako sharks spin and bull sharks I think spin, if I remember correctly. But spinner sharks, like, I mean, it's incredible to see. Like, look at this amazing school of them, and just like doing that, like that classic, like, I mean, it's like they're just spinning, like they're just spinny. So I am very curious to learn tonight why they do this. And please leave a comment in terms of like what you think the reason might be. The immediate ones that come to mind are, I wonder if it's a way to dislodge parasites like copepods. So that could be a way of doing it. When whales do this, it could be that, or sometimes people theorize it could be like social, like for fun. For sharks, I don't really know how much of I don't know how much of that aspect would be at play. Sharks do exhibit social behavior, but I mean, no, not to the degree of whales. So it's just like, I think this is probably more of like a parasite thing than a social thing, but I could be wrong. I'm very excited to see spinner shark facts and research as we get into this particular species tonight. So, but it's just so cool to see them do this. It's also so unusual to just see a shark like launch itself out of the water like this. So, and it reminds you of like some other species. Like if anyone has ever seen like a flying fish, those are very trippy to watch, where they will literally jump out of the water and spread their fins and glide. And it's such a strange thing, but a really cool adaptation. So. I don't think, that reminds me, flying fish do that for predator avoidance. I don't think this is predator avoidance. This has got to be, I'm going to assume parasites, but that's my guess. I'm going to catch up on the comments to see what some other guesses might be. Whoops. Excuse me. I might cough a little bit, by the way. I'm pretty much mostly over the allergies. I was re-listening to last week's stream, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it sounds so congested. I definitely feeling better now, so let's see. Oh, oh my gosh. So, let's see. Oh, hey, Quackers, I think when it comes to color-changing sharks actually contract melanocytes, color skin cells. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right, actually. So thank you. Yeah, because like when I was saying chromatophores, I was like, that doesn't sound correct. So I think you are right. That's melanocytes. So thank you. Actually, let me start that, because I think you are absolutely right when it comes to the dusky smoothhound. So, oh my gosh. Let's see. So they look like rolling penguins. Could be a variety of different reasons. Sir Douglas Bain, I heard they do it while hunting because the force alone kills the prey. That's awesome. That is so cool. I'm going to star that comment as well, because that's awesome. Roy, I think, has something to do with the feeding. I'm going to star that. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my gosh, thank you. Oh, if it makes you feel better, I couldn't. You were congested. Oh, thank you. You couldn't tell it was congested. Thank you, Minjas. I appreciate that, because I was just like, yeah. I think I fall into that category of like, there's a part of me that likes the sound of my own voice, and there's a part of me that kind of like can cringe a little bit, where it's like, I don't know if I'm saying that right. But I think everybody does that. I think everybody can feel very critical of the sound of their own voice, and then it's just like, as time goes on, or as you put yourself out there more, you get used to it. But thank you. I appreciate the comment. So, but yeah. So spinner shark, really really cool. I like that whole idea of like the force hitting the prey. That's awesome. So I'm excited to confirm that tonight. But I think that makes total sense to me. So, and what's weird, what's interesting about that too? That's like a white shark too. And the reason that's particularly interesting to me is that white sharks, like other lamnids, also have huge gill slits relative to body size. So that would be really cool if that is the thing, because like that's like convergent evolution a little bit, where it's like, oh, cool, like these two species are on two entirely different branches of sharks, but they have the huge gill slits, and then they do that ramming feeding strategy. So that would be really cool. Other things, again with the spinner shark, you have the black tip on the anal fin, so that is one way to distinguish it from the black tip shark. And then other than that, it looks slimmer, like just slimmer than the black tip shark. But ultimately the fins, I mean, at first glance, I would not begrudge someone confusing the two species, just because it's like the differences are so subtle. Even the fin shape, aside from the black tip on it, even the fin shape looks really similar. So. But yeah, spinner sharks. Let's go back to black tip really quick, just to compare. I mean, black tip does look a bit stockier now that we're going back. But still, those look... Yeah, spinner does look a bit slimmer and like a little bit... The pectoral fins look a bit narrower too. So I think maybe to a trained eye, maybe they do stand out a little bit more. But to an untrained eye, the black tips are very confusing. So... one thing I'm noticing too is that black tip sharks have like very small tips, whereas spinner sharks, it kind of is actually a little bit deeper. Like the pectoral fin and the caudal fin, those black markings are actually a little bit deeper. Like it dipped deeper into the black paint, if you will. So interesting. Sand tiger sharks. This is so sad. This is a critically endangered species. It should be in the bay, but they haven't caught them in the survey. They've been catching them offshore. It's really sad. The sand tiger sharks are very popular in an aquarium. We've talked about them a lot before. They're very, very popular in aquaria. Very popular for scuba diving, especially Morehead City, huge sand tiger shark location. But this is a critically endangered species. It just grows very slowly, and because it has the intrauterine cannibalism, it reproduces only 2 pups a year. So, or no, not 2 pups a year, but 2 pups a cycle, which I don't know if it's a year or like, it's probably not a year. It's probably longer than that. I think it is like a year and a half or at least 2 years for sand tiger sharks. So that life history strategy and like the low productivity coupled with fishing pressure, it's a critically endangered shark. So it's sad to see. And just for this Earth Day, just want to shout out to the sand tiger shark as just a species that's critically endangered and needs support. So, but classic bay species, classic Atlantic species, again, very popular in aquarium. And part of the reason they're so popular is they look so menacing, but they're actually like very placid and easy to work with, and easy to keep in public aquaria. So, speaking of kinds of tigers, here is the tiger shark. Let me go back. Let me make sure I'm triggering the map, actually. Okay, so spinner shark. I just want to make sure the map is changing. Okay. Spinner shark. Sand tiger shark needs to load. There we go. Tiger shark. Okay, there we go. Okay, just make sure the map changed. But tiger sharks. So we have tiger sharks in Virginia, and as you can see, they're not rare. They're here, and they're huge. Like tigers get to be about, what is that, 20 feet, 18 feet, 20 feet. Like it's not the it's not a Carcharhinus, and it's not even a Carcharhinid anymore. It's its own family, Gallioceridae now. But it used to be in the family Carcharhinidae and used to be the biggest of that family, but now it's in its own family. But tiger shark, famous classic species, famous dangerous species. Nicknamed the garbage can of the sea, with like the heart-shaped teeth. Like we have them in Virginia. As far as location goes, we actually have all 4 dangerous species, and then from closest to man to furthest away, you have bull sharks, which enter the bay, the tiger sharks, which are on the coast, the great whites, which are also on the coast, and then finally the oceanic white tips, which are further offshore. So we have all 4. As far as commonality, abundance, I think tiger sharks would be the most abundant, and it's hard to pick between tiger sharks and bull sharks, because bull sharks are occasional in this part of the world, and tiger sharks, they're here, but I guess they're kind of like not that. They're not rare, but they're not like super common per se. So it's one of those two, and I'm not really sure which one is the more common, the bull shark or the tiger shark. I would definitely say great whites are rare. They're definitely rare here. And then oceanic white tips are probably the rarest, just because they spend so much time offshore. But we have tiger sharks in Virginia, so it's pretty cool. Scalloped hammerhead, my boy. I'm just going to make that bigger because it's Earth Day. So, but critically endangered species as well. So great species to highlight from a conservation standpoint. Have a video on critically endangered sharks. I'm sure everybody's probably seen it at this point, but scalloped hammerhead is featured on that. This is a cosmopolitan species that's targeted for its huge dorsal fin, and it's also very sensitive to fishing. All hammerheads have to keep swimming in order to breathe, and when hammerheads get hooked, it severely limits their mobility, so it really hurts them, as far as they can only last an hour on the hook. And then a lot of hammerheads are facing habitat degradation. Scalloped hammerheads have a little bit of grace because they can go offshore a little bit, but still, it's a critically endangered species, very sensitive to fishing, and it is targeted in other parts of the world for the fins. So just want to shout out to the scalloped hammerhead. It's one of my absolute favorite sharks, And it's also, it's a pop culture super famous species, but I don't think many people know that it's critically endangered. So, but love to see that they're here. I love to see that they're actually caught in the bay, the eastern shore, and the coast. So just really cool to see that. Spiny dogfish, also known as the pike dogfish. This is a classic wintertime species, famous for the slightly venomous spines. So we've talked about them quite a bit before, but they come by, I think, November, and then they're here until around March when the waters are really cold. And then they swim back up to New England. So really fun wintertime species, very common now. Used to be in a really bad spot, and I think they're starting to come back a little bit. They're actually vulnerable, so they're not an endangered species, but a vulnerable species. And they used to have them for shark dissection for like biology classes, but they're actually shifting to the sharp-nosed sharks because the sharp-nosed sharks are a lot more abundant. So, but love these dogfish, super, super cool. Black-nosed sharks. Let me know in the comments if you guys have heard of black-nosed sharks. These are not as well known, and I'll just expand this really quick because I just want to point out the black snoot. So it's like a black tip shark, except it has a black snoot and I guess a black second dorsal fin tip. But these are also endangered. These are very coastal species. They do not enter the bay, but they are in like the eastern shore lagoons. And I always associate this with Florida. Moat Marine Lab actually has black-nosed sharks. In the Bahamas, I think Atlantis Resort has black-nosed sharks in their aquarium. So, but they're very cool. They're not really as well known, but it's kind of like a cool niche species. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of them. So, because like it's like it is an endangered species. I'm not sure like what their conservation needs are. Let's actually take a quick look at that. Carcharhinus acronotus. I do want to check that really quick because it is Earth Day, so I just want to make sure we shout out to all the endangered sharks. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Huge population reduction in the Southwest Atlantic due to levels of exploitation by widespread artisanal fisheries and some commercial fisheries, notable declines in landings. Overall, due to the Southwest Atlantic occupying a large portion of its overall global range and the only species-specific management occurred in the United States, it is suspected the species has undergone a population reduction of 50 to 79% and is assessed as endangered. Gotcha. So the United States is actually doing okay. So black-nosed sharks in the United States are actually doing okay, but black-nosed sharks in the South Atlantic are not doing okay. So that's why it's endangered. Gotcha. Interesting. So I just wanted to check that. I don't think we have a lot of VIMS sharks left, so let's just keep going. Big nose shark. This one is kind of funny. So this is Carcharhinus. I should know this. It literally was right there. I guess I'll check it later because I can't remember off the top of my head. Big nose shark. Carcharhinus. Ultimus is a big nose shark. I think it's Ultimus. So, but as you can see, it does have like a fat snoot. Like a big nose. But other than that, its body plan is actually pretty similar to a sandbar shark. Maybe not as prominent as the dorsal fin, but these guys get confused with sandbar sharks fairly easily. So, but big nose sharks you can see that they're maybe just on the shelf, but they're not really inshore as much. So kind of a rare species here. Bull sharks. So here we go. So bull sharks, famous for entering the bay. They do enter the bay. There's not bull sharks caught on this map in the bay, but they're here. So I found a record of one actually. It was misidentified as a dusky shark from the late 1800s in between Alexandria, Virginia, and Fort Washington, Maryland. So that's basically the DC area, which is kind of crazy. So historically, bull sharks have been found in the DC area. I would not bet money on seeing one again in the DC area just because it's like, that's a losing bet. It's kind of like winning the lottery. They are more famously found at the mouth of the Potomac River, so that's kind of closer to the middle of the Chesapeake Bay. And they occupy mesohaline areas. So famously, they occupy the mouths of a lot of North Carolina rivers, like the Neuse River and the Pamlico River. Those are huge bull shark habitats. And then Florida lagoons, Florida rivers, big for bull sharks. So they're pretty much everywhere, and they're expected to be intruding more northward as climate change continues and as the water, sea temperature ocean temperature rises. It's been theorized that bull sharks will probably increase more in abundance further north. So right now they're uncommon, so they're not like super common here, but they're here. They're totally here. So, but Carcharhinus lucas, classic, big, stocky, boofy, terrifying, dangerous shark. So. Silky sharks, beautiful species, very graceful looking. These are famous offshore sharks. So sometimes they come closer to the coast, but these guys are just very slim and sleek. They almost look like blue sharks in their build. So, cool to see them. They, curiously enough, have like a smaller dorsal fin. As far as Carcharhinus go, and then huge pectoral fins. So these are like ocean travelers. So silkies, gorgeous, gorgeous sharks. Smooth hammerhead, Spherna zygaena. So this guy is awesome. This is actually found in the Chesapeake Bay as well. It's not on this map, but it is in the bay. Kind of more so the mouth. And it's cool that they caught them on the Eastern Shore lagoons. Very, very cool. But what's famous about these guys is that this is the only hammerhead that can be found in Canada. These are the most cold-tolerant hammerheads, so they actually can extend their range a little bit further north than their cousins. And they're actually doing better than the other hammerheads. I believe, smooth hammerheads are vulnerable, whereas the other ones are more like critically endangered. Great white sharks, also known by the classic name just white shark. We have them in the bay. Actually, looking at this map, look at this. 1, 2, actually no, hold on. 0 to 2, sorry, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, so that's 2, 2 to 3, 2 to 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 white sharks caught during the span of the survey. That's actually pretty cool. 6 to 3, 6, 9, 10. 6 to 10 white sharks caught in this area. So that's really crazy. White sharks right now, very, very popular in Cape Cod. So like to the point where I would probably feel unsafe swimming in Cape Cod. Because like they come so close to shore. I have this really cool shark tracker app that tracks white sharks in the area, and it's like the entire Cape is covered in white sharks, which is crazy. As far as this part of the world goes, they're really rare. I think they're just kind of more like migratory. They just pass through this area, but huge, beautiful, beautiful predator. I can't wait to do. I think episode 100. It's like on the one hand, you hate to do charismatic megafauna and everything, but on the other hand, it's like, episode 100, I think we gotta do a great white shark for episode 100. It's just the classic one, so I think it'll be appropriate to do it to celebrate episode 100, that would be this year. So we'll save them for later. But what can you say? It's the classic great white. So it's cool to see them in the bay. Or not in the bay. Sorry, in Virginia. In Virginia. Sorry, that was a Freudian slip. They do not live in the bay. Sorry, I have to say that because like people keep asking me that if they're in the bay. They're not. I'm so sorry. White sharks don't live in the bay. They do not live in the bay. They'll never live in the bay. Don't ask me that they live in the bay. They don't live in the bay. Thresher sharks. Thresher sharks, Alopius vulpinus, cousin to the great white, distant cousin. It's really cool to see this particular. You probably can't see it because of the. I have like the footer. The spinner shark footer, but they actually come really close to shore using their long tail to whip and paralyze fish. So we covered this species, I think last year is when we did the thresher shark. So, but super cool to see. Very cute pug-nosed snout. The great hammerhead. This is a personal favorite of mine because I remember I told a shark biologist, like, we have great hammerheads in Virginia. And that shark biologist was like, no, we don't. And then, as it turns out, we do. They are rare. They're a very rare migratory species because they like to be in more like warm tropical waters. But they're here. Beautiful, very imposing shark with that enormous dorsal fin and the falcate sickle-shaped pectoral fins as well. everything about it just looks so intimidating and imposing. Critically endangered shark for the same reason as a scalloped hammerhead. If you haven't seen it, please check out my critically endangered shark hammerhead video. These guys are facing the same kind of pressure, very sensitive to fishing and very sensitive to finning. So. Blue sharks, Carcharhinus glauca, beautiful species. We do have them here, so they are more of an oceanic shark. So they maybe come up a little bit close to shore sometimes, but for the most part they stay offshore. But interesting to see that they look a lot like a silky shark, not in the color but in the shape. They have the smaller dorsal fin and then the very large pectoral fins. So I think these are more like oceanic adaptations. So very cool to see kind of like those parallels there. Short fin makos. Famously, we did this. That was one of my favorite streams. And Howard, that piece of art that you made for that stream, incredible. Isurus oxyrhynchus. This is also a species, I would say in the United States, this species really needs more attention. Because, like, I feel like people think they can fish for these sharks. And the answer is you really can't. You really shouldn't. It is an endangered species. And its life history, like, means that it grows slowly, reproduces really slowly. It is in trouble, so I advise for Earth Day, please, and actually for the rest of the year, please stay away from makos. Don't fish for them. Please admire them, for who they are and like what they are. They're amazing predators, and actually, this line Isurus is the antecedent to white sharks. So, like Isurus has been here for a very long time. And like at one point in evolution, big chonky Isurus broke off to become the great whites. So mako sharks and white sharks, really cool branch of sharks. And I think it's just great to like admire them and just, not fish for them, but just admire them from a distance. So beautiful species. Lemon sharks. These are more famous in tropical mangroves like the Everglades, but they do come up here and they do like, excuse me. They do like the Eastern Shore lagoons for pupping grounds. Love the coloration of lemon sharks, and I love that like their look is pretty distinct too. They have the broad pectoral fins and dorsal fins. Everything about them is like very billowing and very like elegant. I love lemon sharks. So, and also kind of like puppy-like or dog-like. There's something about it that is just like, big, kind of scary looking, but ultimately like just kind of a chill shark. Lemon sharks are really cool. Bonnethead sharks, another favorite of mine. He's on the map down here. I think the spinner shark thing is kind of blocking it. But this is an endangered species, sadly. It's doing, I think it's faring better in the United States, but in other parts of its range, its populations are really crashing. But these guys are very populous in the southeast. So Florida, the Carolinas, bonnetheads, they're very, very common coastal shark. And they're adorable. So love their characteristic scoop head shape. Oh, is that it? I think that's it actually. So bonnethead is the last one. So, but I'm glad I could share this with you guys. Let me catch up in the comments too. So, seaweed munchers, yeah. Lemony boys. Oh man, I love these comments. These are great. So, yeah, pressure sharks have a weaponized tail. So cool. Oh yeah, I mean, just they are not in the bay. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, oh my gosh, that was such a slip. Yeah. Oh, episode 100 falls near Christmas. So cool. Okay, yeah, that sounds excellent. So, love to do the white shark for around the holiday season. So, very cool. But yeah, so I'm glad we took a look at these sharks. Let me repost the link, by the way, because I think some people joined maybe a little bit later. This is like the VIMS story map. It's kind of hard to find, if I had to Google this, I would have a hard time finding it. So I hope you guys enjoy kind of like checking that out. It will link to profiles and we'll have more information on those species. So I really, really hope you guys enjoy that. And again, although this is Virginia focused, this would apply to sharks that you can kind of extrapolate this a little bit. To sharks from Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. So these are really this is a nice profile of mid-Atlantic sharks in the United States, which is pretty cool. So, but all right. So with that, let's wind everything back to focus on the spinner shark, Carcharhinus brevipinna. So we'll take a look at the VIMS page. We'll take a look at the profile breakdown, and then if we have time, we got some cool studies relating to the species. So, but happy Earth Day. Let's dive in. So, spinner shark, this is the VIMS. We never really been on the VIMS website as much before, so, but I do want to see the VIMS profile. So, the spinner shark Carcharhinus brevipinna is known to form schools and often makes vertical spinning leaps through schools of fish and out of the water. Maximum size is about 9 feet or 2.8 meters for females and 7 feet or 2.3 meters for males. Likes to be on the continental shelf, close inshore to offshore. It's kind of weird that it says, oh, there you go. Yeah, from North Carolina to the northern Gulf of Mexico and Bahamas, spinner sharks are occasionally found in southern Virginia waters. They eat pelagic bony fishes, small sharks, cuttlefish, squids, and octopi, and they occur about 0 to 100 meters. So, shallow water species. Let's see what this is. It's hard to tell. Index and standard error for the spinner shark. Not sure what this is. This is something to do with the shark survey, but I'm not really sure what the numbers mean here, so we'll kind of skip that. So, oh, this is also fun, by the way. I just want to shout out to my alma mater, William & Mary. Not many people realize that VIMS is actually connected to William & Mary. Their School of Marine Science is at VIMS, so yeah, just really cool place. If you live in Virginia and want to study sharks, William & Mary is the place to go. So, or VIMS specifically, but William & Mary is a great place to go for that exposure. So, Florida Museum of Natural History, let's take a look at the spinner shark profile. Actually, let's take a look at some more spinner shark footage. So we saw the footage of them spinning, but let's take a look at, this is one of my favorite channels called Dibrem, and I highly recommend please subscribe to this because they have amazing shark footage, but this is a really cool piece on spinner sharks. And yeah, these are spinners. You can see really briefly like the black anal fin. So that is a spinner shark. So at first glance, you might be confused. Like it might be hard to tell like whether that's a spinner or a black tip, but that black anal fin gives it away. And also the sleeker shape. So this is such a cool scenario to be in the water with these species because these are more like piscivorous sharks. They don't really bite people or attack people. If they do, maybe it's kind of more like mistaken identity because these would not be. They look cool and they look intimidating, but you know they're not aggressive shark species. So. It's cool that they're just kind of chilling out around this diver, and it's cool to see that it's a school of them. I feel like a lot of the sharks that we've seen are very solitary by comparison, but this is an actual school of spinner sharks. So, a school of Carcharhinids, actually. So, again, usually, like I know some Carcharhinids school, but it's just, like, to get it on camera is kind of fun, because it's, like, it's not often we see that. Usually, again, sharks are quite solitary, but it depends on the species, but it's cool seeing, like, schooling Carcharhinid sharks. I believe Dibrem is French, by the way, so, yeah, it is French, so. But I just want to replay this again, just to kind of see what we can see. It's just fun to see them, like, all at different levels in the water column. You know, being very placid. They're not really, you know, they're not aggressive at all. They're just kind of like circling the diver, checking them out, but not really doing anything particularly crazy. And it's cool to see them like in mid-water, that they're just kind of cruising in mid-water. It's fun. You can really appreciate their sleek body shape. Oh man, I love how like kind of pointed they are. So they are like little rockets. So it's just kind of cool to see. And that shape undoubtedly helps them accomplish that launch out of the water. So the black tip shark is a little bit, you know, stockier, but the spinner shark, by having kind of like that more like conical, like slimmer body, it definitely helps them kind of break the surface. So that's really cool. Man, I would love to be in this scenario. This is so cool. Excuse me. Nice slow down footage of that. So, very cool species. There is one more clip that features spinner sharks, but I think this is kind of like a fun Earth Day clip. because this is the Cape Fear River inlet, and it actually has a lot of shark species in it. So let's just take it out, or take a look at it. So down here, look at that. There's a sand tiger shark. It's very shadowy, but he is down there. So that is a sand tiger. These look like sandbar sharks up here. Yeah, that's a sandbar shark. That's a sandbar shark for sure. Up here. Beautiful species. You could tell by the high dorsal fin. That... It's hard to tell. That also might be a sandbar. It's kind of fun to see this fish photobombing. That's a sandbar. Right? Yeah. But I know there's a shark that comes across the screen. Actually, this guy looks a little bit slimmer down here. But I kind of love this because it's like there's so many different species happening. This one, this is a little tricky. That's tricky. That looks like a sandbar again with the huge dorsal fin. That's a sandbar shark as well. I know there is a slim looking guy. Ooh, nice angelfish. There we go. There's a spinner shark. That's a spinner shark right there. Check it out. You could tell, again, the black anal fin really gives it away. The sleeker body, the smaller dorsal fin. So this is a really cool clip. Because that's 3 different species at least. It's hard to tell, kind of in the gloom and the murk, like who's who, but still, it's really cool to kind of identify sharks like as they're coming at you, you know. These guys are a little tricky based on the angle, and they're a little too far away to get a positive ID. Yeah, it's a little hard to tell because juvenile sandbar sharks, they are not as stocky as the adults, so those can sometimes get confused at a distance, but still, very cool clip. We do want to play it one more time, then we'll go back to kind of learning, because look at that. It's cool to see that sand tiger in the shadows. And again, these are sandbar sharks. They have that classic, the broad fins, the huge dorsal fin. These are totally sandbar sharks up here. Beautiful, beautiful species. Man, I would love to do, this would probably be like ludicrously expensive, but I would love to do like a live stream where it's like, I place like a camera somewhere, we kind of like watch it together. That would be so cool. Oh, this guy, wait a minute. That one was hard to tell. That, I don't see a black tip, so I think that's a sandbar shark as well. This one is pretty slim looking, but it's too far away to get a positive ID. But anyway, I would love to like do a live stream where it's like there's a camera and like a BRUVS, like an underwater camera, and we monitor it together. That would be really, really cool. So, let's see. It's also fun to see all these different kind of North Carolina fish. North Carolina is a very interesting place because it's the meeting ground between 2 distinct ecoregions, like true temperate species, and then love that angelfish. Subtropical species. There's a spinner shark. Again, the slim body, the black tips. There he is again, coming into the front of the camera. I think that's a queen angelfish. Can't quite tell from that angle on the top. But yeah, I would be over the moon just to kind of like review footage like that. I'm not sure what this little guy is. This little fish. But yeah, this channel, this is North Carolina, Cape Fear River. They have a lot of cool shark cams. So, and again, this is actually pretty close to some world famous dive sites too. So, really cool stuff. All right, I think it's our last clip. So, Cape Fear Shark Cam. So definitely subscribe. They're super cool. But yeah, I'm gonna catch up on some comments. Oh, Roy, I love this live cam from time to time. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, cool. It's called the Frying Pan Tower Webcam for Sharks Atlantic Cam. Awesome. Very cool. Very, very cool. So, excuse me. Awesome. Let's see. Spinner Shark for Florida Museum of Natural History. These are usually good breakdowns of species profiles, so we'll take a look here. Let's see. Spinner shark is a slender gray-brown shark named for its distinctive aerial spinning behavior at the surface. When feeding, spinner sharks will often swim through schools of bait. Okay, you guys are right. You guys are absolutely right. They will often swim through schools of bait fish, spinning along their longitudinal axis, snapping at fish as they move through the water towards the surface. That's so cool. When they breach the surface, they can be seen spinning in the air, sometimes as much as 20 feet above the water surface. They are frequently mistaken for black-tip sharks, Carcharhinus lombatus, as they have superficially similar appearance. However, spinner sharks grow to a larger size than black tips and have... What? Wait. Spinners grow to a larger size than black tips and have a distinctly marked black tip on the anal fin in adults, whereas black-tip sharks do not. The spinner shark is a common species of nearshore waters in temperate and tropical regions. It also occurs offshore as a pelagic species. Although occasionally involved in shark bites and humans, its teeth are adapted for seasonal prey rather than tearing at large prey, or usually result in relatively minor injuries. Interesting. That's surprising. These get bigger the bigger the black-tip sharks. And I wonder if it's because they occupy more of like an offshore range. Because I feel like black-tip sharks are more coastal, but still really cool. But, let's see some common names. English common names include spinner shark, black-tip shark, that doesn't help. Great black-tip shark really doesn't help. Large black-tip shark really doesn't help. The long-nosed gray shark is even worse. And shark. Let me just zoom in on that. It's also called shark. So, yeah. This is just called shark. But anyway, sorry. I love this website. I'm sorry, Florida Museum of Natural History. I love your website. So I'm just poking fun. So, names around the world. Ooh, I like Shivra. That's really cool. Mushi. For Avatar fans, that's a great spinner shark name. Uncle Iroh's name in disguise was Mushi when he and Zuko were in the Earth Kingdom. So that's fun. Tolhai. I love the Dutch names. Spinnerhai. Dutch and Afrikaans names. They're really cool. So, okay, importance to humans. Shark. Yeah, the comments are great. It's him. It's Shark. Oh my gosh, you guys are great. It's so funny. Spinner sharks are taken primarily on long lines and directed commercial shark fishery. Let's see. Yeah, kind of similar to a lot of species where they're fished somewhat recreationally. Let's see. It's not considered dangerous. It may pose a threat if attracted to divers that are spearfishing. So it's not really a dangerous shark. I would never consider the shark to be dangerous because its primary prey item is fish. According to the International Shark Attack File, the spinner shark has been responsible for 16 unprovoked attacks on humans, none of which have been fatal. However, its small, narrow teeth are better suited for feeding on small fishes. There you go, not attacking large prey items such as marine mammals. So, again, it's the shark. It's the sharks with like the big serrated teeth that are scary. Like, so the bull sharks, the tiger sharks, the white sharks. Actually, specifically bull sharks, white sharks, oceanic white tips. They all look really similar teeth-wise. They all are these weird, like, huge, triangular, serrated teeth. Tiger sharks have the heart-shaped teeth, but they're also serrated, so... But those are the ones that are scary. These guys, not scary, so... I think the assessment's been updated. It's not near threatened anymore. I believe it's vulnerable now. Look at this. Spinner shark is found from a lot of places. So, from Cape Cod to Brazil... Also in the Mediterranean, Africa, Red Sea, Indo-Pacific, Australia. That's a huge range actually for Carcharhinus brevipinna. Let's see, so spinner sharks range from inshore to offshore, depth 0 to 100 meters, so very shallow water. The spinner shark forms schools and is considered a highly migratory species off the Florida and Louisiana coast and the Gulf of Mexico, moving inshore during spring and summer months to reproduce and feed. Although juvenile spinner sharks move into lower portions of bays with the tides, they avoid areas of low salinity. The spinner shark is an active, fast-swimming shark that is often seen leaping out of the water, spinning in pursuit of prey. Alright, so distinguishing characteristics. So anal first, second, dorsal, pectoral, and lower caudal fins black-tipped in specimens less than a meter long. So that's a little tricky. If there's a juvenile spinner shark, it looks like they have a slightly different coloration pattern, that would be hard for identify. The first dorsal fin is fairly small, originally over or just behind the free tips of the pectoral fins. Really? Because that's like dusky sharks. Wow, that's true. Look at that. Fin placement, we've talked about it before, but fin placement is just so important for shark identification, especially for Carcharhinus. So the origin of the dorsal fin is right behind the free rear tip of the pectoral fin. So that's actually really helpful for identification. I'm kind of curious if we can get... Let's go back to VIMS. I'm kind of curious to see what the black tip shark looks like as far as fin placement goes. Let's just take a look at that, because I remember they were right next to each other. Look at that, guys. There you go. Check that out. So the black tip shark's dorsal fin is actually starting at the very middle of the pectoral fin. Look at that. But spinner shark, look at that. The dorsal fin is right at the edge, like right at the free rear tip of the pectoral fin. So that is so cool. Alright, so for spinner sharks, it's the black tip on the anal fin and then the origin of the first dorsal fin. That's how you can tell that apart from a black tip shark. That is extremely cool. So thank you. Thank you, Florida Museum of Natural History. That's so cool. Let's see. The apex is rounded, so that makes sense for the dorsal fin. The snout pointed as long or wider or longer than the width of the mouth. So, gotcha. Let's see. Biology. The shark has a slender build, small round eyes. The lower jaw has a distinct notch along the trailing edge, but okay, it's not that important. Let's see. An interdorsal ridge is absent, so this is really important for if you're trying to identify carcharinid sharks. The dorsal ridge is a very key feature. Off the top of my head, I always have trouble kind of remembering who has the ridge and who doesn't. I believe sandbar sharks have the ridge. Bull sharks are smooth, if I remember correctly. But it's impossible to tell at a... Well, it's not impossible, but it's almost impossible to tell at a distance. So this is kind of something, if you caught a shark and we're trying to identify it, the ridge is a very important feature to look for, right between the dorsal fins. Let's see... the spinner shark is often confused with black tip shark. Two are easily distinguished as adults. Anal fin of spinner shark is black tipped, while the anal fin of black tip shark lacks this marking. However, neonate spinner sharks have no such markings on their anal fins, or for that matter, of any of their fins, making them challenging to distinguish from black tip neonates on the basis of fin markings alone. Interesting. So baby spinner sharks don't have any markings, like no black tips. Interesting. However, the relative placement of the fins on the torso differs between two species. We just talked about that. The shape of the first dorsal fin also differs between the two species. In the spinner shark, the posterior edge of the fin is approximately perpendicular to the horizontal axis of the body, and the tip is more rounded. Black tip's first dorsal fin has a slightly falcate trailing edge. So the top is a spinner? Yeah, top is a spinner. No? Yeah, top is a spinner, right? Yeah, top is a spinner, because, like, okay. That's actually really cool to see. Here we go. It's, again, good side-by-side comparison. So the top one is a spinner shark because the dorsal fin is a bit more rounded. It starts at the rear end of the pectoral fins. and then there's the black tip here in the anal fin. The black tip shark has more of a falcate dorsal fin, so a little bit more of a curve. Origin is... This isn't a good photo because it almost looks like the origin is behind the... or like kind of in the same spot. But to help confirm, it has just a white anal fin. So with practice, it's becoming easier to tell these guys apart, which is cool. Okay, we already know the coloration, so we got the black tips. Oh, interesting. Dentition. The teeth in the upper jaw of the spinner has narrow and erect cusps and on broad bases. This differs from blacktip shark, which has large and somewhat broader upper teeth. Interesting. Let's see. The tips of the teeth are not recurved forward as in the blacktip shark. Interesting. So spinner shark teeth are more narrow, so again, that's good for eating fish. So maybe blacktip sharks are a little bit more generalist. So it's kind of cool to see these like subtle differences. So oh, I'm sorry. Quackers, those are females, right? Yes, so let's go back. So these are males. Sorry. And Rory was right. I think Rory said they're males. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we could go into that. So these are male spinner sharks because see right here, these are claspers. So these are the male reproductive organs for sharks. Females do not have these. They have a smooth area between the pelvic fins and where the cloaca is. But male sharks, especially adult male sharks, they always have these claspers. So fertilization is internal, so it works very similarly to mammals. So you kind of get the picture. But yeah, all male sharks have claspers. If claspers are around the same size of the pelvic fin, that's more of like an immature male shark. But if they get to be huge and like kind of beyond the pelvic fin, and this is probably not a huge cut and dry rule, but like for the most part, if they're huge and beyond the pelvic fin, then they are a mature male. So these are two probably close to being mature males. And in this photo, they look a little bit smaller, but based on the claspers, they look, I would say, kind of closer to maturity. So, but yeah, that's how you tell the difference. This applies to all sharks too. Claspers are with males, and then females don't have them. So let's see. I'm actually kind of curious if we can get some spinner shark photos. I had a couple loaded to kind of help illustrate this. Because it is good shark, and these are actually really cool photos to see anyway. So that is an awesome shot, like a spinner shark with the gulls. Look at that. That's so cool. Amazing species. Beautiful shot. Spinner shark launching out of the water. It's hard to tell. I think that that is a female. Do I have that right? That is a female spinner shark. So see, it does not have claspers here. So really cool angle of this guy kind of flying out of the water. These are so cool. Or this girl. Sorry, this girl flying out of the water. This is a female spinner shark, so no claspers. Doing her characteristic spin. So cool. Love this photo. Such a beautiful species. Like, yeah, it's so cool. Let's see. Spinner shark migration. It's awesome. Oh, here we go. It's hard to tell from this angle, but these all look like females. And that could be, I believe, if I remember correctly, I think spinner sharks actually do have sexually segregated schools. A lot of sharks actually do that. So they'll converge when they mate, but otherwise they will be kind of like sexually segregated. Beautiful shot of these girls hunting. So cool. Oh, look at that. That's an incredible shot. Gorgeous shot of spinner shark. That's so cool. Man, beautiful species. Amazing how it's like kind of colliding into this bait ball. So cool. Deceased. That's not helpful. Let's see if we can get some others. Okay, so this is a male. This one is a male because we have claspers. It's hard to see, but there are claspers. This is a smaller male with claspers going beyond the pelvic fins. This looks like a male as well because I think those are claspers. It's so grainy, but those are claspers. This is an immature male. This is a male with the claspers clearly going on beyond the pelvic fins. That one's hard to tell. I think I had Andy Merck's website up. Here we go. This will be our last photo, but great shot of a spinner shark male. So these are the claspers extending beyond the pelvic fins. So male spinner shark. So hope that helps as far as kind of like telling the difference between male and female sharks. Another fun fact, it's kind of hard to tell with photos, but female sharks actually are larger than male sharks, so they get to be a bigger size. So, I just saw your comment. I appreciate that. So, yeah, and I believe I can fly. These are great. Yeah. No, those photos are just beautiful of like the spinner sharks. Let's see if we get any more information on Florida Museum of Natural History. We were on the dermal denticles. Maximum length was 9 feet. Here we go again. Female spinner sharks mature about 5 feet, males at 4 feet. So again, females are larger than males. Its food habits. Spinner shark feeds primarily on small pelagic teleosts, including 10-pounders, sardines, herrings, anchovies, sea catfish, lizardfish, mullet, bluefish, tunas. These are all great coastal fish for the most part. Stingrays, cuttlefish, squid, and octopi. It swims rapidly through schools while spinning around the axis of its body. Shark snaps at the quickly scattering fish, often leaping out of the water. This feeding behavior has also been reported for the blacktip shark, although to a lesser degree. Interesting. So I would not be surprised if these two species probably are kind of close evolution-wise, and they probably diverged kind of recently. Let's see. During feeding and scavenging events, spinner sharks sometimes form aggregations. Let's see. And spinner sharks have been also reported to scavenge discarded fish from fishing vessels. See, these sharks give live birth. The reproductive cycle is biennial, every 2 years. The pups immediately move into shallow estuarine waters to seek protection from predators and to find available food. Interesting. So it sounds like adult spinner sharks really don't go into estuaries as much, but the little guys, like the pups, actually go into estuaries a little bit. Large sharks are potential predators of spinner shark, especially on juveniles. See. Taxonomic history. Confused with blacktip sharks. So that was a good breakdown. That was a really good profile from Florida Museum of Natural History on this guy. So, all right. Just a quick look at IUCN Red List. Spinner sharks are vulnerable. So let's see what's going on with them. We'll just skim through this. Coastal pelagic, warm, temperate, and tropical waters, 0 to 200 meters. The low biological productivity combined with schooling behavior and tendency to occur in inshore waters makes it susceptible to fishing pressure. Although if the pressure is on the juveniles only, it can be sustainable. Interesting. The species is taken as target and bycatch of industrial, small-scale, and recreational fisheries using a range of gears. The population is estimated to have increased in the northwest and western central Atlantic in response to management measures and have undergone a minor reduction of 3% in South Africa. Interesting. So that's like the first time we've seen that, really. So this shark's, happy Earth Day, this shark's population actually grew in the northwest Atlantic. So this is like this is literally this area of the east coast of the United States, the east coast of Canada. It probably doesn't go up that far, but in East Coast United States, Bahamas, it actually grew in population, which is incredible. Like, we've never really seen that before. So that's really cool to see that win. And it grew in population in response to management. So that's actually awesome to see that spinner shark is, in that part of the world, doing okay. So in other places, so it's suspected to have declined by 30% in the Arabian Seas region over the past 3 generation lengths, and is also inferred to have declined in the Mexican Atlantic, Southwest Indian Ocean, West Africa, and Southeast Asia. In Australia, it is captured in low numbers in managed fisheries and likely to be sustainably fished. So United States is doing okay. Australia, it seems to be sustainable. Other parts of the world, not really doing so well. Spinner shark has low biological productivity, and although there is less fishing pressure in managed fisheries on some parts of its range, most of its range occurs in areas of intensive and unregulated fisheries. It's suspected the spinner shark has undergone a population reduction of 30 to 49%, and it is assessed as vulnerable. So that makes sense. So that's why it's not quite endangered, but not doing super, super well. But that's actually pretty fascinating. That's really cool to see that like there was some success in conservation for this species. So especially in the Western North Atlantic, that's actually awesome because kind of tying it back to VIMS and just shark research in general, because of the data that VIMS and like other institutions have gathered on shark catch records, it's helped informed management plans, at least in the United States and Canada as well, because it's like the sharks, a lot of those species do migrate up north pretty far. So like at least to like the Bay of Fundy or Nova Scotia. So it's really cool to see that like there is all that data on mid-Atlantic species, or sorry, northwest Atlantic species. So it's very helpful and definitely it's good to have that repository of information. So cool. Let's see what FishBase says. Brevipinna, for the Latin name, brevipinna brevis means short, pinna means fins, referring to small pectoral and first dorsal fin. So pretty good name. Just scanning the FishBase article for anything new. Excuse me. Not too much new. It says fins probably used in the Oriental shark fin trade. Not too much new information from FishBase. We'll check out shark references a little bit, and then we'll kind of get into some cool. Oh, some more names. Here we go. Oh man! Oh, look at this! The inky tail shark. Look at that. That's an adorable name, actually. If they find a new shark species, I think we should call it the inky tail shark. That's actually adorable. So. Oh my gosh. So let's see. A lot of these are terrible names, but inky tail shark is fantastic. Smooth fang shark is cool. Not super helpful in the field, but inky tail shark is pretty great. So that's awesome. Let's see. I think we can check out. Ooh, these are some great photos. Oh man, so nice reef photo. Look at that spinner shark on the coral reef. So cool to see. Nice shot of the jaws with those nice narrow teeth. Great for eating fish. And actually, relative to the jaw size, those are very small teeth, actually. And then this is a blacktip shark. So this is actually wrong. Look at this. Yep, this is a blacktip shark. So it kind of goes to show how easy it is to confuse. So see that the anal fin is white. So also see that the origin of the dorsal fin is actually kind of over the pectoral fin. And then finally, the dorsal fin is a little bit sharper looking. It is a little bit more falcate looking. So this is actually a blacktip shark. So it kind of goes to show how easily confused they are. And I know they made that comment that juveniles don't have really markings, but look, this is a pretty large individual with markings. So this is a blacktip. This is not a spinner. So that's pretty interesting to see. Man. Oh, here we go again. That's a black tip. This is 100% a black tip shark. Because again, look at the origin of the dorsal fin, right smack dab in the middle of the pectoral fin. So that is a black tip shark. So this is actually wrong. This is actually a misidentified photograph, which is a little scary, a little infuriating, because like that is a little, that does not help with shark conservation or shark awareness. But you know, like, it's kind of cool on a personal level, like for us, like to kind of catch this and be like, ah, that's actually incorrect. You know, so wild. So yeah, it's also kind of cool to see it like on a larger scale. Like these species get very easily confused. So, but dorsal fin placement and then the coloration of the anal fin. These are the clues. These are the Sherlock Holmes clues to figure out black tip versus spinner. So that'll be a fun, like, you know, Sherlock Holmes mystery to like. Actually, no, that would be a terrible mystery. Like the case of the I don't know how we can figure Moriarty confusing sharks for some devious scheme. I have no idea how that would work. But anyway, it's kind of fun. Let's see. This is Shark Research Institute. By the way, I had Sharks for Kids up here. There we go. I'm going to put this over here because since it is Earth Day, I do want to shout out to Sharks for Kids and tips on helping sharks. So we'll take a look at this profile, then we'll dig look at Sharks for Kids really quick. But Shark Research Institute, let's see if there's anything new about the species. Womp womp, yeah. Oh, is there a way to reach out to the sources to ask about that? Potentially. So yeah, let's make a note of that actually. Correct. Oh, let me get a better pen. Okay. Okay. There we go. So yeah, we'll reach out to Shark References to kind of help correct that. So let's see. Same coloration notes. Again, love that detail, you know, about how you could tell spinners from black tips. It's cool that we just applied it tonight too. That's pretty fun. Don't think we have new notes on this. Oh, here we go. Spinner sharks are sometimes attracted to divers who are spearfishing. Although a spinner shark has never been implicated in fatality, the species has bitten humans. Interesting. So, okay. By the way, it's almost 10:30. Please let me know in the comments what shark you would like to cover next week. We'll kind of take a pause and check out Sharks for Kids. They're a very nice group. I've talked about them a couple times before. But we'll check out just some tips on how you can help sharks. So it is Earth Day, so I think it'll be kind of cool to just kind of take a pause and talk about all sharks in general. So we'll take a look at the Sharks for Kids tips, and I pretty much agree with all of them. So we will take a look at that. So excuse me, and I'll also monitor the comments. Ooh, the pig shark. Do you mean so Quackers pig shark? Do you mean the pig eye shark? Because we have done the pig eye shark. But let me make sure. Pig shark. Oh, actually, there's a couple different ones. Oxynotus centrina. The angular rough shark. We actually did the angular rough shark. We've done the angular rough shark, and we've done the pig eye shark, which looks so close to... Oh, I saw a photo of like, whoa, pig shark. I think that is the angular rough shark because I just did a quick Google search as well. But we do have that one on the channel. And then we have the pig eye shark, which actually looks like a bull shark. That's also on the channel as well. So those are taken. Good suggestions, but those are taken. So I'll keep monitoring the chat for suggestions. Here we go. Sharks for Kids. Number 1, recycle or use less plastic. Different types of plastics, or depending on where we live, different types of plastics are recyclable while others are not. Have your parents or teacher help you figure out which plastics could be recycled. Something even better than recycling is to reduce single plastic use as much as possible. We could use by using a reusable water bottle that could be cleaned and refilled, and have your parents bring reusable grocery bags to the store, and use items made of environmentally friendly materials such as bamboo, such as toothbrushes and utensils. This is actually really great because so with plastic getting out into the ocean, and I think this relates, for me, this relates more to like number 2, don't litter. This one is a huge one for me. But as far as plastics getting out into the ocean, it's not only that it's like plastic straws and junk that drifts out to sea and an animal ingests it on accident, and then like a shark in turn might prey on that animal and ingest that. So it's not just that. It is also when the plastic slowly breaks down and creates microplastic. And like if you can imagine microplastic getting ingested by plankton or like filter feeding fish, and then that in turn gets ingested by sharks. It's not good. Microplastic's actually completely terrifying. So I really like that. Definitely recycle. I definitely agree with like please use less plastic. The huge one for me is don't litter. It really saddens me how people don't follow this at all. Like I don't understand. I honestly genuinely don't understand how people can like throw trash around like they own the place. It's stupid. And I think it's lazy personally. Just please pick up your trash and just like take it out, put it in the trash bag, and like just throw it away when you're at like the beach parking lot or something. Don't leave it on the ground, because it does get out into the water. And unfortunately, like for me, I will be on the beach and I will pick up plastic. Like I'll just be enjoying the day and trying to like, enjoy nature, and then I will see plastic and I'll just put it in my bag so I can just throw it away later. Like junk that wasn't mine, junk that, I didn't bring there, but because I'm seeing it, it's like, well, I got to help the ocean. So every time I'm on the beach, I do pick it up. And especially plastic is just kind of like, because of the fact that it can't break down, it's so dangerous to sea life. And it's also like, I'm not really grossed out by it because it's like, it's just plastic. So I could just pick it up and put it in a trash bag, So, and by the way, cleaning the beach is really like a kind of a fun thing to do, especially like it's like simultaneously like a beach walk, but you're also kind of like doing something good for the environment. So yeah, any kind of like picking up any kind of litter is a really kind thing to do and a really important thing to do. It really grinds my gears because there's so many American beaches where I've just seen it, there's just so much crap everywhere. And so it's just like, I definitely agree. That's a big one for me, where just please don't litter and please just throw it away. And please don't be lazy, because it's like, I just think it's profoundly lazy. Like, I think it's a really lazy thing to do. So please don't do that. Let's see. Don't use products. This is interesting. Don't use products with squalene or squalene in the ingredient list. This ingredient is often found in makeup, creams, and lotions. It comes from the liver of sharks, which are often killed unnecessarily for this purpose. Have your parents avoid using products with this ingredient and instead use a similar product that does not contain squalene. So it's going to be interesting to look that up, actually. You know what? Let's look that up for Earth Day. Brands that use squalene. Oh no. Okay, squalene products, the good, the bad. This is from a website called Shark Allies. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. 2008, two mega mogul cosmetic companies, Unilever, responsible for brands like Pond's and Dove, and L'Oreal, publicly agreed to stop the use of shark-derived squalene in their moisturizing creams and lipsticks. Okay. Before Unilever and L'Oreal, the cosmetic company Beiersdorf, responsible for Nivea, Clarins, Boots, Sicily, and La Mer pledged not to use animal-based squalene as well. Okay. Oh, interesting. So these are... Okay. So I guess, like, shout out to... These are the companies that apparently don't have squalene in the products. So let's see. I'm just going to read out ones that I kind of recognize. Biosense, Burt's Bees, CoverGirl, Dove. I don't know this one, but Drunk Elephant sounds fun. Kylie Cosmetics, Kylie Skin. Is that? I don't know. I'm not going to even try to know who that is. Nivea, Olay, OC, Pacifica. Okay. One thing I really do appreciate with the environmental movement and like kind of Trader Joe's. Yeah, I love Trader Joe's. I really appreciate that. I do think like environmental consciousness is not just something important, but it is becoming it's already become something trendy and actually like powerful as a market force, you know. And I think that is only going to continue. And I really appreciate that. I really, really do appreciate that. I think it's like really good in light of like we didn't necessarily have to live in the world where that happened, but I'm really glad that we do live in a world where it's like it's trendy to be like eco-friendly. It's trendy to be like, you know, sourcing your product sustainably. Like it's actually kind of like, you know, in good taste, in good fashion. It is something that consumers want. Like, you know, that's actually really cool that, you know, the environmental movement, I feel like as far as like we kind of know it started roughly in the 50s, and then it's really continued to grow and continue to like gain traction, and there's continued to be this like so many important steps in awareness, to the point where like it's cool to live in a place in a world where it's like for all the other issues, at least, you know, environmental consciousness is like kind of a hot thing to do. It's like a trendy, like, you know, good thing to do, like fundamentally for good reason. So so I appreciate that shout out as far as like being conscious of what products you use. One big thing that was a huge issue was the use of, and this was so crappy. In the 90s, I think there was like a rumor of shark cartilage like curing cancer or like, you know, preventing cancer or something like that. And it was really just bad research. And it started this whole like kind of like snake oil market of cartilage pills, you know, that are supposedly cancer fighting, and they're really not. It's just like bunk research. It just doesn't even make it. There's no real foundation for it. And like one thing that I think I forget who pointed this out, but someone made a really good observation that like, you know, if you don't see sharks with cancer in the wild, it's not because sharks don't get cancer. It's because the cancerous sharks die. like it's just like, you know, it's like you can't extrapolate, oh, sharks don't get cancer from the fact that you never see them, because the ones that do get cancer don't make it. And this was famously debunked by a white shark photo of a white shark with cancer. So you can actually see a white shark like with tumors and stuff. So like sharks do get it. Like sharks, like, you know, like a lot of, I mean, pretty much all animals, like they do get it in some way, shape, or form. So that helps stop selling like cartilage products or things like that. So, you know, while we're on the subject of like shark products, like I feel like curios are kind of becoming more out of fashion, but like, you know, just, you know, no buying preserved sharks or shark curios or jaws or anything like that. You know, like the fossil teeth are perfectly fine, but like, you know, living shark products, unless like there's teeth that were collected on the seabed, it gets kind of dubious as far as like where that comes from. And it gets kind of tricky too, because like just I think it's good to err on the side of caution as far as where shark materials come from. For me personally, I do have a set of jaws that were gifted to me by VIMS, so I do have that for teaching purposes. But other than that, I don't collect shark jaws or anything because it's just like, it's better to just stay away from it. So I'm gonna catch up in the comments. I just kind of went into a tangent, but. Oh, I love that. Love that. Quacker, sorry, environmental destruction is so mid-1900s of you. That is so on point. I'm going to star that because that's so on point. And Howard, I'm going to star this too. Consumer consciousness is a powerful tool. It is. It really is. I think I talked about Free Willy the other day, like a couple weeks ago. But like that was so cool because like that in that like late 80s, early 90s period, like people were just absolutely into saving the whales. Like they were just that is such a powerful movement. Like whale conservation has been such a huge movement. So I just think it's so cool. And I really do appreciate, for all the junk that Shark Week does, sharks do have that same level of charisma. And I really do appreciate that we have turned the narrative around from like, it's going to be a long time, and it's still going to be like a lot of progress. But like we have turned it around from like sharks are the monsters that Hooper describes in Jaws to sharks have been misunderstood, and then now the narrative is turning around again to like, wow, sharks are really endangered and they really need our help. So, I've heard of chocolate milk carry polio, but not cartilage. Oh, is that real? Is that real? I mean, I have to question everything on the internet, but is that real? Like, that's actually, that's, okay, that reminds me, Sir Douglas Bain, like, this is so bad. This is so bad. Actually, I probably shouldn't, no, actually, no, I'm sorry. I almost made a mistake. I almost made an internet mistake. Like, okay, there's a scene. Your comments for Douglas Bain reminds me of a ridiculous scene from the movie Pearl Harbor. I won't recount it while I'm being recorded because I don't know if that's going to go down well on the internet. But like Pearl Harbor is a ridiculous movie, and there's a ridiculous scene that comment reminds me of. So if you haven't seen Pearl Harbor, I don't recommend it. It's a I'm gonna shut up right there. It's just there's some Michael Bay shenanigans about that movie. So anyway. Mingus, I totally agree. I hate pop science like that. I do too. I mean, it was just like the 90s paper about the cancer thing. It was like it was a paper from the 90s. It was like an inference. It was like one paragraph or something that was like a speculation. And then there were a couple like pharmaceutical companies that ran with it. And I do not think they were FDA approved. I think they were, if I remember correctly, I think one of them was in Mexico, or it was like either southwestern United States or Mexico, and like it was like one citation, and I don't think they got FDA approval, and then they made their product, and like it was just weird. There was a lot of shady stuff with that. So and that's kind of like that was like 90s, I think early aughts when that was going down. So but anyway. Oh, Howard! Shark cartilage was a common medicinal ingredient. When I was a kid? Wow, yeah, like, yeah, it's scary that was a thing because I remember like when I was a kid, it was still like a hot topic in the 90s, and then I'm happy to see that it started to go away a little bit in the 2000s, I think, and then recently, sometime in the 10s, that white shark cancer photo came out. And then I think it really just helped erase that. So I really appreciate that. So, oh man. So, they probably had piles of cartilage pills in their warehouse. They probably do, which is horrible. So, and unfortunately, a lot of it, it was really from this pike dogfish, Squalus acanthius. So, yeah. So. I just saw the sugar comment, Sherlock's Bane. Yeah, I don't think sugar works like that. The way I eat it, my brothers probably think that I'm convinced of that, but I don't think it works like that.
This is interesting, by the way. Tip number 4 for helping sharks. This is really important. This is actually a big issue. I think this is, I could be wrong, and please, viewers, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is more of an issue in the UK, US. I could be wrong about that, but like I don't really run into this. I've never really run into this, and I've been to I think enough places on the East Coast where I feel like it's fair to say like I don't know if this is a thing here, but I've definitely heard of this in the UK, which is don't eat mislabeled seafood like flake, whitefish, surimi, imitation crab, or fish and chips. Maybe the imitation crab. That I've actually seen before, and do you know what? That actually terrifies me, because I have seen that before. Okay, I've seen imitation crab before, but I haven't seen the other stuff before. But anyway, unfortunately, seafood is often given other names to hide the fact that it is shark meat. Don't be afraid to ask where the seafood came from. It also helps to know if it came from a fishery that uses sustainable fishing methods, or when in doubt, just avoid eating it altogether. So for fisheries, just to expand on that, I think shark bycatch absolutely is the #1 threat to sharks today. And then if you're into seafood, I highly recommend please buy locally, and also buy from sustainable fisheries. There's, let's check it out. There is, since we were looking up the cosmetics, Seafood Watch. Let's check this out. This is a really great resource by the Monterey Bay Aquarium. And for me, as just a really, there we go, seafood guides. Quick rule of thumb, I just please don't buy like South American or Asian shrimp or anything really. It's like, as a quick rule of thumb, it's just imported, and it can be coming from places that just don't have any regulation. So just buy. I was about to say buy American. That sounds terrible, but yeah, buy local seafood. This is pretty interesting. Look at this. So here, I'm gonna put this in the chat as well, because this is a really good. This is a really good resource. You can make this into a card, and you can take this with you. So just as far as sustainable seafood, so let's take a look. So best choices, we got bluefish from the U.S., catfish, clams, blue crabs. Yay, love blue crabs. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, blue crabs are great. Farmed oysters. A lot of these are American, New Zealand. Tilapia from Ecuador and Peru. Interesting. Tuna, squid, swordfish from the U.S. buoy gear. This is interesting because it shows the country, but the way it's acquired as well. So these are the best choices for seafood. Good alternatives. So these are not necessarily the best, but they're, not the worst. Monkfish. Are these goosefish? Oh dear. Yeah. So pretty interesting. So some American and Canadian places, not so great, but not the worst. And then avoid. Let's see. So let's see the seafood to avoid. Sea bass from the Mediterranean. Chilean sea bass from Chile. Also, shout out to Jurassic Park, because they have a line about that. But Chilean sea bass from Chile. Cod. Atlantic cod. So it's really sad, but that makes sense. Cod are plummeting in stock. So Asian crabs, Atlantic rock, or Jonah crabs from US or Canada. Blue crab from all other sources. Interesting. Hold on. Let's see. The best blue crab... Sorry, blue crabs are delicious. Best blue crab is from Maryland Trotline. Maryland is very famous for blue crabs. Good alternative is blue crab from Alabama, Delaware, Maryland, or New Jersey pot. Interesting. Crab from all other U.S. sources. Sadly, I guess that's Virginia too. I gotta avoid that. Interesting. Snow crab from Canada. American lobster? No! Oh no! Happy Earth Day! Oh wow!
Interesting. How are Wow, I'm actually kind of shocked by that. If I might have to make a second channel to figure out, like an invertebrate channel to figure out. I wonder what's going on with lobster. Um, Hold on. I gotta know this now. Hold on. Homarus americanus. Is the lobster okay? Yeah, the lobster's least concern. So the lobster's fine. So I guess it's the way it's caught. Interesting. Where were we? Interesting. American lobster is something to avoid. That's really interesting. Because, like, the species is okay, but there's something... Maybe it's the way it's caught, but I'm a little shocked by that. Because it's like, lobsters are caught in the pots, you know. As far as I could tell, the pots aren't really destructive. So, yeah. We'll have to look into that. Like, interesting. Imported mahi-mahi, octopus, orange ruffy. That's a huge one. Yeah, orange ruffy. We talked about this before, but orange ruffy is a deep water fish. Is not doing well at all. Definitely agree. U.S. gillnet or Canada troll pollock. Salmon from Canada, Chile, Norway, or Scotland. Sharks, just all sharks, avoid them. Shrimp, all imported options. Squid, all other imported options. Let's see where the good shrimp is from. U.S. wild shrimp or Canada. Farm shrimp from Ecuador, Honduras, or Thailand. Farmed in U.S. shrimp. So American shrimp and Canadian shrimp are fine. Swordfish that are imported. Tilapia from China. Bluefin tuna. Indian Ocean tuna. All other tuna. Interesting. So, wow. I learned something today. Lobster. That's sad. Man. Wow. I'm shocked by that, actually. I'm really, really shocked. So, Dr. Claus, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I will pledge to avoid that's crazy. I appreciate Howard. I pledge to avoid Atlantic cod. I'm going to pledge to avoid lobster. I'm not sure why they. Yeah, we'll have to. I will start the Dr. Claus channel and like figure out what's going on with lobster, because that is shocking. I'm very curious, because it's like they're doing okay, and I don't like they're caught in the pots. So I as far as I know, I don't think lobster pots are invasive, really. Like as far as fishing methods go, that's not that bad. But maybe there's another way to catch lobster that is super destructive. So that's pretty fascinating, actually. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe there's something. I don't know. Yeah. You know what? Okay, I'm too curious right now. I'm just gonna Google on my phone really quick. I'm gonna monitor the comments as well. Please let me know also, shark for next week. Let's see. Lobster fishing bad. Let's see. I am so shocked by that. I'm shook. Lobster fishing issues. No. Effects on whales. Oh, that makes sense. Here we go, guys. Humans are killing right whales faster than they can reproduce, and entanglement in lobster gear is the leading cause. That makes sense. That makes sense. That totally... Oh, that makes sense. Okay, no lobster. No lobster. No lobster. If my girlfriend is watching, I'm sorry, babe, we can't do lobster. So, no lobster. That makes sense. So in the Northwest Atlantic, I had no clue either. Like, Minjas, I have no clue. I'm shook, honestly. So in the Northwest Atlantic, the right whale, this is like our panda. This is like our ocean panda. Like, it is the most endangered, charismatic, like, this thing is like, there's only like 300 individuals left. Like, North Atlantic right whales are like the most high profile endangered species on the east coast of the United States. Quackers, babe, it's for the whales. Love that. Thank you. So yeah, right whales, super, super famously protected. Like, and to the point where whole maps are devoted to marine navigators, where it's like navigators have to like stay, I think, was 100 yards away from right whales. Like it's crazy. It's not crazy, but it's like it's very intense. So the fact that lobster pots are actually endangering white whales, that makes total sense. So I had no idea that they actually cause that much harm. But yeah, so Quackers, I did a project on them when I was little. It makes me so sad. Yeah, I mean, it's sad because it's like, part of the reason it's called the right whale. You probably know this actually, but part of the reason it's endangered is it's also his namesake. It's called the right whale because it's the right whale to hunt because it spends so much time at the surface, and it just really like comes close to shore, and it's just its life history didn't really pair well with humanity, unfortunately. So, but yeah. Burmese bamboo shark. We could totally do that. Let me look that up, Howard. I just saw your comment on that. But yeah, that totally makes sense about the lobster. So, so yeah. So Duckless Bane, pandas are doomed. Yeah, I have not caught up on the pandas, by the way. There's a comedian. I haven't watched him a lot now, but I used to like Jim Jeffries. I have not caught up with him I've not seen his stuff lately, so I kind of don't know what he's up to now. But he has a pretty great bit on pandas, like just almost refusing to they're very difficult to mate. So, all right, let's do it. Burmese bamboo shark. That's a great suggestion, actually. Howard, we have to find another lobster fishing method. Yes, absolutely. That'd actually be a cool species to devise something different because. Lobster, it's a bottom dwelling, like, relatively, I feel like it's relatively easy to predict where it is. What's kind of fun is, like, I used to snorkel in New Hampshire, a little bit in Massachusetts as well, and I would actually see them. So I'd actually see American lobster on the seabed. You could technically, like, hand fish them, but there's no way you can make a commercial fishery for that. Unless you have like extremely dedicated people, but there's no way you could probably do that because it's like, yeah, that's probably almost impossible actually. But it's an interesting species to think about. Like, what would an alternative way to fish lobster? What would that be? Because I imagine it's the line that's connecting to the buoy. I'm imagining that's probably what the whales are getting tangled up in. So, but let me type in Burmese bamboo shark. Really great suggestion. Burmese bamboo shark. Chiloscilium burmensis. Burmese bamboo shark. Slender Noodle Boy. Love this comment. So this is great. 1 to 6 on a scale of Slender Noodle Boy to a Lordy's comment. So basket shark number 6. Basket shark. The angular rough sharks. I know they're not as big, but they also they're so pudgy. Let's look at that really quick. Oxynotus. So the rough sharks. Yeah, they're like little footballs. So they're very cute, and they would, I guess there are 5 maybe. So as far as that scale goes, so. Oh man, where were we? We were on one more thing for Sharks for Kids. Sorry, we were on Sharks for Kids, and we went down a really important rabbit hole. So I'm realizing that lobster is that's going to be my commitment for Earth Day is no eating lobster. So for the right whales. So. But I will still keep my blue crabs. On the rare occasions, I usually don't eat seafood, but if I'm a guest somewhere, I might have it. Or if I'm on vacation, because I usually, if I do take vacations, usually on the water, I might indulge if there's a crab at stake, because I do love crab cakes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very much I'm like a dusky sleuthhound. I really do love the crabs. So, but anyway, so. Number 4, that was a really great side tangent on seafood. Number 5. There you go. Educate others and teach them about how important sharks are. I think this whole channel, I think all of us together, I think we all do a great job. And what's really cool is that, like, I know all of you guys are very passionate about sharks. I know you love them. And I'm sure in your lives, you probably do share them, like, with your friends or family, or, like, even other people. So just, like, I mean, this chat is so cool, and this community is really cool. So, like, I know it's not just me doing this. So you guys are awesome, and the fact that we're all even here together, it means we are committed to learning about sharks and their biodiversity. So it's so cool. So I think we're doing number 5 pretty well. So, but yeah, that's actually a great photo of the spinner shark. It's almost 11. I don't think I have more spinner materials. I did have some papers, but it is almost 11, so it actually, I think on that conservation note, it's probably a good note to end on. And on this photograph is so great. I think we might call it a night for here. So, but man, I also do want to play this game a little bit. Frill shark. Okay, this is great, guys. Actually, hold on. Dwarf lantern shark number 1. Frilled shark, excellent. Bull shark is so chunky, number 5. Oh my gosh. So cool. Okay, I'm going to submit some entries. Let's see. I was talking about Dusky Smoothhound. I think it's a good number 2. Oh, I got a good one, guys. Okay, hold on. Oh, actually, no. That's going to be a... How do I do this? I've made a new scale, a flat 8. So it's not a 6, it's not a 7, it's a smushed 8 is an angel shark. It's a pancake. So it's you take all that mass and you compress it. So we'll do that for angel shark. I'm trying to think of some other cool ones. A viper dogfish. I think it's a good number 1. Some fat ones. Oh, yeah. Okay. Number 5, poor beagle. I think a poor beagle's a good 5. Porkers, Mr. Hooper. Porkers. Let's see if we could get some poor beagle pictures. Yeah, that's a good. They're good chunks. So that might be more of a 4, but they're very good chunks. Let's see who else. I literally was. Oh, do you know what's a nice salmon shark is a solid 3.5. Very cool. Do you know what's a good 2.5 or 3 is a tiger shark. Tiger sharks are very slender, so swell shark, they literally inflate. Yes, Sir Douglas Bay. That's a good pick, really good pick. For kind of like more of a pudgy boy. What are some other ones that I know? There's one that's kind of like nagging at me actually. I got it. I think a pocket shark is a good 4. Let's see. It's small, but it's chonky. Well, actually, that's not a 4, really. That's a little bit more slender than I remembered. Never mind. So, yeah, that's a little bit more slender than I remember. Oh, speaking of slender, this might have been already said. Ooh, cow sharks, nice. Whale shark, nice. Sir Douglas Bain and Howard, both for the win. Excellent. I do want to check out Cookie Cutter Shark because that is a perfect pencil, honestly. Like, that is... Look at that. That's actually a perfect number 1. Let me check. Did somebody already say that one, actually? Night of the Living Pancake. Oh, my gosh. I'll do one more. I'm gonna monitor the chat. I'll try to think of one more. Oh, someone said cow sharks. Excellent, excellent answer. That's a great answer. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, did Min just leave? Oh, oh man! Happy Earth Day, Mingus. It's great to see you, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining. Danger pencil. Oh my gosh, the spookiest pencil. Tiger is definitely a 3. All right, my last one. I started. Excuse me. It's gonna be the Living John Wick pencil. I think a Greenland shark is a solid 2, if I remember correctly. This will be my last one. Well, it's got a bit more girth to it than I remember, so maybe that's like a 2.5 or a 3. And it is huge. I mean, it is a huge animal, so... also, I hate crap like this on the left. This is just weird Photoshop stuff, so... But these are all real Greenland shark images here. So this is a cool photo, actually, of a Greenland shark in shallow water. Very cool. But, yep. Megamouth 3 to 4, nice. Megamouth, that is awesome. That's a good answer. So Megamouth is pretty chunky. So, but yeah, let me go back to the spin. Oh, there we go. There's a spinner shark photo. But yeah, so yeah, it's 11, so I probably will hop off now. But thank you guys so much for watching. This was a really cool stream. I really appreciate the conservation focus. It was fun to highlight species that are in the mid-Atlantic, and then also include the spinner shark. And actually have a really good crash course of shark identification, both for this species specifically, and then also just like male and female sharks, how you tell them apart. And then also just how this is a great case study for the nuances of shark identification, where you know, the fins matter, coloration can matter sometimes. So really great case study species. And I'm glad that we topped it off with conservation in the end, as far as like things that we can do and things that we're currently doing to help sharks. So. But thank you, Roy. I hope you have a great Earth Day as well. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is so cool to share this with you. So thank you so much. Thanks for the game, too. That was a lot of fun. So we'll come back next week for that bamboo shark, the Burmese bamboo shark. Until then, stay awesome, guys, and I'll see you. I know, I can't say that because that's not me. That's a different YouTuber. I have to come up with a shark. We have to come up with like a shark catchphrase. We'll figure it out. I know this is like the scuba dive sign for sharks, but we'll figure something out. But anyway, cheers, guys, and happy Earth Day. I will see you next week. Take care.